Gracias. Buen día. Gracias. There's too many people to recognize, but I would like to recognize one of my executive members of our team. This is Mr. Bruce Murdoch, who's our general counsel. Este es un abogado. And so I'm going to answer probably the questions that are in your head that maybe you would like to ask me. But I'm going to take the time to answer 3 or 4 very quick questions. And I said to Frank, we need a partner. We need another partner. You and I will be partners. Frank will be the investor. But I said, we need another partner. And so we thought, who would be the best partner? So we started doing our research. And we researched a company called World Travel Holdings. WTH. World Travel Holdings is a $1 billion retailer of cruises and the cruise industry. And so they do $1 billion. The industry does about 40 billion. So they do 1 billion out of the 40 billion. They own the website cruise.com. They own the website cruise1.com. And there's two brothers, the Tolkien brothers, those hermanos that run the business. And I called one of the brothers. And I said, I have an idea. I said, I want to bring you more. I want to bring you more new passengers than you could ever imagine. He said, what's your idea? I said, well, let's meet. I'll tell you what my idea is. And so we met. He flew down from New York to Miami. We had the meeting. I made the presentation. I said, we are going to be the biggest cruise membership club in the whole world. And so he says, you know what? I like your idea. So we started working together on an agreement. And so I worked with our attorney, our lawyers, and then they presented with their attorneys. And we worked on the agreement for about 3 months, nonstop. I was working 7 days a week getting the business ready to launch. We're scheduled to launch the business on the 1st of January. I took my children. I have 4 beautiful children. And we went on a cruise. We were scheduled to go on a cruise for Christmas. Just before I'm going to leave for the cruise, I get a phone call from World Travel Holdings, Executive Vice President. And this is what she said to me. We sell a cruise travel franchise. We make this cruise travel franchise business opportunity for $10,000. And inCruises offers this business opportunity to be a socio, to be a partner, for only $195. She said, Michael, we have a problem. And I said, what's the problem? 195 versus 10,000, what's the problem? She says, Michael, I want you to understand, we've made a decision. We've made a corporate decision that we're going to go in a different direction. That the risk of working with you and inCruises is too great. And I said, wait a minute. We're going to launch in about 10 days. Wait a minute. You know that I've spent thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars putting together our videos, our marketing materials, all our documents. I said, just wait a minute.
Espera un momento.
I said, I need about 24 hours. And so I called Frank Cadena. I said, Frank, I didn't say we have a problem. I said, Frank, we have an opportunity. I just hung up with World Travel Holdings. And Frank says, awesome, fantastic.
Wow.
He said, did we get our contract signed? He said, I'm getting nervous because we're so close to launch. Did they call you to tell you that they were going to sign the contract?
Yeah.
I said, no, it was better. She called me to tell me, gracias, pero no gracias. And so, if you know Frank Cadena, he goes like this. Oh my God. So what do we do? We've got to figure out how to do what? We've got to figure out how to add more value. I said, we don't need the name. We don't need the name World Travel Holdings. We won't say the name World Travel Holdings. I said, we don't need the name. We will still have the value. But I said, what we need is we need the relationships.
Pero necesitamos esta relación.
We need the relationships with the cruise line. So let's do this, Frank.
Así que vamos a hacer esto, Frank.
let's tell them they do not have to give us their name. They
Vamos a decirle que no se
license
preocupen.
their name. And I said, let's make a bigger commitment. Let's give them money up front. Let's make a promise to them that we'll give them even more money than what we talked about up front. But we have to move forward. We've got too much momentum. We're getting ready to launch in the next 8 to 10 days. So I called Brad Tolkien, the brother again, called him up. I said, I want to fly down. I need to meet with you. So this time the meeting was only about 15 minutes. We made this presentation to add value. And this is what he said.
Y esto es lo que él me dijo.
Hutch, I like you, but the risk is still too great. And so I shook his hand,
Le di la mano.
and then he shook my hand. I said, you'll see me later. I was there. Right, we got to do what? We got to change all the videos. We got to go back in and re-record all the videos. We got to change all the marketing materials. And then we got started to tell some of our colleagues, some of our closest friends and families about the business. And then it started to go viral on social media before we launched. Then we had to go back on all instances, all times where World Travel Holdings was mentioned on the internet, and we got to take it down. All before Christmas. This is over the Christmas holiday. And so what would you do in this situation? What would you do in this situation where you worked so hard? You spent all this money. You spent thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. And you had trust to move forward. And yet, 8 days before we're supposed to launch, your partner, you're going to get married. We're at the altar. What would you do with all this stress? What would you do if you have all this stress in your life that I have? You know what I did? You know what I did? I went on a cruise.
I'm stressed.
I made a promise to my children that we're going to go on this cruise, and I didn't want to break this promise.
Y no quería romper esta promesa.
And here's the last thing I'll tell you. When you get on a cruise, you meet people. People that you've never met before. You have desayuno, you have almuerzo, you have breakfast, lunch with people you've never met before. So on this cruise, people would ask me the same thing that people are going to ask you when you're on a cruise. He says, what do you do? What is your business? And I would say this. I'm starting.
Yo estoy empezando.
So people are eating. People are eating, right?
La gente está comiendo.
I'm starting
Estoy empezando.
a cruise membership club. It typically go like this. There we go. What did you say?
¿Qué dijiste?
I said, I'm starting a cruise membership. What does that mean?
¿Pero qué es eso? ¿Qué significa eso?
Well, I said, our members have the best prices in the market. Our members
Nuestros miembros
have prices that are not available. Our members have prices that no one can match. They go, what?
dicen, ¿qué?
How come I did not hear about this sooner? How do I join this club? I said, I'm starting in 2 weeks. I had one guy, that every time I saw him, he would follow me around. I would walk around the cruise and here he would follow me. Come on, tell me more about this. So I called Frank from the ship. I said, Frank, I said, this is the first time I've talked to somebody, strangers, everybody we knew prior to this time on the cruise. And I said, full speed ahead. I said, Frank, we're going to make history. So the question is the money saved? That was 3 years ago.
Eso fue hace 3 años.
Since that time, we have continued to renew our seller of travel registration. We continue to have a membership now with 3 different entities, 3 different companies. With CLIA, the Cruise Line Industry Association, International Association. We continue to file our corporate taxes.
Hacemos
We have a headquarters in Europe, in Andorra. Andorra is our European. Our international headquarters are in San Juan, Puerto Rico. And so it's important to ask me this question. ¿Por qué Puerto Rico? Why Puerto Rico? Why are you in Puerto Rico? And so I say 2 words.
Le digo, 2.
Avoid taxes. Why are we in Andorra? Now from my mouth to our attorney's ears, did I say evade taxes? No. I said what? Avoid taxes. There's a difference, right?
Ahí no hay una diferencia.
There's a difference.
Ahí no hay una diferencia.
So when we moved the business from Miami, Florida to Puerto Rico, again, we received approval. We had to show our bank records, our taxes. We had to provide our business plan. We had to provide what does the future look like in terms of our business. We promised that we would make charitable contributions. We would provide to charities in Puerto Rico. And I'm very proud to tell you that today we support 3 causes. Our leaders were introduced to one of our causes last week in Andorra. We're involved with 2 organizations that are trying to clean up the ocean's waters, to rid the oceans of all the trash, la basura, and all the plastic that's in the ocean. And so we're involved with 4 Ocean and the Ocean Cleanup Project. Yeah. And the ocean cleanup is out of Amsterdam, out of the Netherlands.
Son de Amsterdam,
And then also in Miami,
in Miami,
in Orlando,
en Orlando,
and in Puerto Rico.
en Puerto Rico.
We provide cruises to those children who have terminal diseases through Make-A-Wish. And so we do this not because we have to, because it's who we are. And so, is the money safe? You have to ask all my leaders. Has there ever been a time when they've not been paid? Has there ever been a situation where we've not followed through on what we've promised? And I would trust that they would tell you that yes, the money is good, they all been paid, and that we pay through 3 partners that we have, 3 partners. Hyperwallet, which is a part of PayPal, Payoneer, and ePayments. And we'll be adding even more ways for you to get paid. So for me, is the money good? The money is good. COC. Okay. Second question, very quick. The other question I get asked is, how do you make the business work? How do you offer 2 for 1? How is this possible? Michael, are you a magician? How do you make it work? How do you make it work? And I explained, this is exactly how I make the business work. For me, business is very, very simple. Easy to do, not easy to do. As a business owner, you bring money in, and the way that we bring money in is we bring money in through fees, membership fees, partnership fees. We sell power tools, we sell tools to grow your business. And then every time you go on a cruise, every time we make money. We are the travel agent. And so by show of hands, Abel, how many have been on a cruise with us? Just hands raised up. Exactly. So every time you went on a cruise, the company made money. So this is how we bring money in. Also in business, you have to protect. Like a papa. You have to protect your company. And so my question to you is, how much money does the company, how much do we spend in advertising? How much money do we spend in advertising to promote our business? How much do we spend? How much does the cruise line spend? How much? What would you guess? ¿Qué piensas? $300 to $500 million. $300 to $500 million in advertising to promote their brand in television, internet, newspaper, billboards, radio. We inCruises, about we spent 0. And again, hands raised, who's been on a look around the room? When all these members went on a cruise, did inCruises employees, did my employees fix your meals, clean up your room, entertain you? Did my company do this? No. Who did? This is my secret. This is the secreto. Right? Don't tell the cruise line. They spend all the money to advertise. They spend all the money to take care of you as the customer. And what we do is we spend money in 3 areas. 3 areas. Number 1, cruise dollars. Cruise dollars where we spend the most money. For me, it's the cost of doing business. The cruise lines has their cost. I know my cost. 2 for 1. Is it good or what? Yeah, it's fantastic, right?
Fantastic.
2 for 1 is fantastic. The second area I spend money is what? The compensation. I've always wanted to be so generous to enable people to live a good life. I am here in this business to run this business for people to be financially independent. Financially independent. So for me, that financial independence is time freedom, money freedom, and vacation freedom, but also location freedom. You see these leaders here, they have the opportunity to build their business and travel any place they want. Okay, so the second area of our money, your money, is compensation. And then the third area is just to run the business. You have to have money to run the business. You have to have a website. You have to have accounting. Those are the areas that you spend money. Now listen, the cruise lines, when you book with the cruise lines, they have big buildings with thousands and thousands of agents wearing headsets, saying Buenos dias, me llamo Michael, how do I help you? I'd like to make a booking. And so they do all the bookings by way of telephone. This is the majority. They answer the phone 24 hours a day, any place in the world. Employees do I have answering the telephone? How many employees? Nobody. Zero. We do all our bookings online. We don't have big offices. I don't have a big ego. I have an ego, but I don't have a big ego. In my last company, I had 400 employees. Our headquarters was 50,000 square feet. No more. We have a small office in Miami, small office in Madrid. We have a small office in Andorra. I have an office in Puerto Rico. But I don't like to spend money where I don't need to spend money. I spend money where I think you want me to spend the money. I think you want me to spend the money in 2-for-1 cruise dollars, compensation.
En el plan de compensación.
Sí o sí? Sí. Okay. So do you understand now? How do I make it work? You bring money in. You bring as much money as you can bring in, and then you protect the money that has to go out. If you bring in €1 and you spend €1 and is it cents? What is it? Cents. And you bring in and you spend €1 and 1 cent, you're in trouble. Que lástima. What a shame. So you're in trouble. So that's how we make it work. So that's the second question I'm always asked. Are you guys doing good? Do you need to stand up just for a second? Want to stand everybody up? Everybody up? The music, a little bit of music. 30 minutos más, 30 minutes more. Building the ships. We spend money in compensation because we don't manufacture. We don't spend any money in inventory. We have no inventory. You have no inventory. You have the opportunity to be a global business day one. We don't manufacture, we don't ship, we don't inventory. We're not responsible for any of that. The cruise lines can't build ships fast enough. You have access in your back office to over $1 trillion. Over $1 trillion in inventory of what it would cost if I were to build all those ships. You can't live on $1 trillion in Spain. It would be hard to live off $1 trillion in Spain, but it's a good start, right? You have access to $1 trillion in inventory, and right now there's $68 billion in new ships being built as we speak right now. 68 billion. I'd like just a little of that $68 billion. So that's how we make it work. In 2008, last thing I'll tell you, 2011, with one of the worst financial downturns in the global economy, 2008 to 2011, guess who made money? Fortunately, I made money, but the cruise industry also made money. And so we are just a baby, 3 years going into 4 years old. I think it's important that you also understand the risk. What is the risk What is the risk for you? What is the risk for your members if they sign up and join as a member? I don't like to talk about the negatives, but you have to. But as a business owner, you have to be transparent. You have to be honest with your customers. So what is the risk? What is the downside of being a member? 5 things. Right. Number 1, you have to be an active member. You have to pay that membership. You have to stay active, $100 every month. Because I made this promise to the cruise lines that whatever numbers that I gave them would be accurate numbers. I could not tell them that we had 10,000 members, but only 5,000 were paying. This is my negotiation, that our customers were responsible and that they would make those payments. So the number 1 risk is you have to be responsible. You have to be able to afford. You have to be able to afford. I don't want, listen to me guys, I do not want the risk. I do not want the stress of somebody that can't afford $100 to be on your team, to be a member. Life's too short. I don't want this risk. Do you understand? If they can't afford to go on vacation, we need to help them in a different way. We need to help them in a different way. Okay, so that's number 1. You have to be responsible. Stay active. You've got to make that $100 membership payment. Well, what's the second biggest risk that you have to make? What do you have to do? You have to do what? You have to travel. Who said it? You have to go on vacation. Hey, Lassima, what a shame. You have to travel. This is the value. This is where the value is exchanged. When you put your money in and you redeem your cruise dollars,
Pones tu dinero y tú sacas tus cruise dollars.
and then you apply it to the price of the cruise, and either it reduces it in full, it's part of the way, right? But you have to travel. You have to go on vacation. So by going on vacation, if you live here in Barcelona, you've got about 15 minutes to get to the port. But you have to get yourself to the port. Listen, guys, we have 6 boards. We have 6 board of directors. 4 of those board of directors live in countries where they don't have the cruise port that you do in Barcelona. You know what they say to me? The Spanish team? If you live in Spain, you know the country that I live in? Kazakhstan? We don't even have a lake, let alone an ocean.
Olvídate, nada de océano.
In my country, in Belarus, no cruise terminals. Those in Spain, very lucky. I want to move to Spain. Michael, in my country, Ukraine, we have a commercial port. We have a commercial port in Odessa, but we don't have an ocean cruise terminal. Want to move to Spain? Come on. So you guys are really lucky. Okay, so does everybody understand?
¿Entienden? ¿Están entendiendo?
You've got to get yourself to the port.
Que tienes que llegar al puerto, tienes que llegar a un puerto.
It costs money to go to the port.
Cuesta dinero llegar al puerto.
If you live in a country like Romania, where's the team from Romania?
¿Dónde está el equipo de Romania?
Look at these guys.
Por ejemplo, si vives en un país
There's
como
no
Romania,
ocean cruise ports in Romania.
no hay terminales en el puerto de crucero en Romania.
So you've got to get yourself to the port.
Así que tienes que llegar al puerto. Ese es otro mínimo que tienes.
And while you're on vacation, when you're on the cruise, when you're on that cruise vacation,
Entonces, cuando estás también en ese crucero,
what else do you have to do? When you're on the ship,
cuando estás en el barco, ¿qué tienes que hacer?
what does the cruise line require?
¿Qué requiere las líneas de cruceros?
Propinas.
Propinas.
They require propinas.
Requieren propinas.
It's necessary
Es necesario pagar las propinas.
to say thank you, dar gracias, to say thank
Es
you
una manera de dar gracias
to the people that clean your room,
a la gente que te limpia el cuarto,
fix your meals.
que te arreglan, que te preparan las comidas.
You have to pay propinas todo el día, every day, cada día, every day you have to pay
Tienes que
propinas.
poder pagar propinas para todos los días que estás en eso.
And the price for gratuities is what, maybe about
Las propinas, ¿como cuánto es? ¿Cuánto es la propina en un crucero?
10 euros, $10 a day.
Como 10 euros al día. Como 10 euros al día aproximadamente. Tienes que poder pagar la propina.
You have to pay this every day, right?
Pero tienes que pagar esto todos los días.
So those are the 4 risks.
Si esos son los 4 riesgos.
Number 1, you have to be responsible.
Número 1, tienes que ser una persona responsable
You have to be able to afford the $100 a month.
y poder pagar $100 al mes.
Number 2, you you have to what? You have to travel.
Número dos, tienes que poder viajar.
The value of inCruise dollars is to use them.
El valor de los cruise dollars es el poder utilizarlos.
You have to go on vacation.
Tienes que vacacionar.
And you have to what? You have to get yourself to the port.
Y tienes que poder llegar al puerto.
These leaders travel from Germany.
Estos líderes viajaron aquí desde
They
Alemania.
have several ports in Dortmund, in Hanover, in Berlin. Very lucky in Germany.
Tienen varios puertos en Alemania.
But you still have to get yourself to the port.
Pero tienes que poder tú llegar al puerto.
That's number 3. And number 4, you have to pay propinas.
Y número 4, el riesgo número 4 del producto es que tienes que poder pagar las propinas.
Right? You have to pay gratuities.
Tienes que pagar propinas.
And then number 5, what's number 5?
Y número 5,
What else do you have to do when you're on the cruise?
¿qué más tienes que hacer cuando estás en el crucero? La quinta cosa que tienes, el quinto riesgo, ¿qué más tienes que hacer cuando estás en ese crucero?
You gotta party.
Tienes que pasarla bien.
You gotta have fun.
Tienes que disfrutar, pasarla bien.
You have to take pictures.
Hay que tomarse fotos,
You have to take más photos.
muchas fotos.
Come here. Come here. Let me show you how you do it.
Déjame enseñarte cómo que se hace.
Right?
Mira, se hace así.
When you're on the ship, you gotta go. And it's
Y te tomas una foto y dices, "Ah, eso es". ¿Puedes hacer eso?
You gotta take lots of pictures.
Tienes que tomar muchas fotos.
And then you gotta post it to Instagram,
Entonces tienes que ponerlo en Instagram,
and Facebook,
en Facebook,
and YouTube.
en YouTube.
¡Qué lástima!
¡Qué lástima! ¡Qué difícil! ¡Wow! ¡Qué pena!
So I've answered 3 questions.
Así que ya he contestado 3 preguntas.
Is the money good?
¿El dinero está bien? ¿Estás seguro?
I suggest that you get with our partners and ask them.
Pregúntale a nuestros socios.
Just look at their checks.
¿Tiene los cheques?
Yeah.
Sí.
I'm not making any income claims.
No estoy haciendo declaraciones de ganancias contra esa inversión.
But I just simply ask that you ask our leaders, is the money good?
Pero simplemente les pido que le pregunten a ellos que si el dinero está bien, que si es bueno el dinero.
I also answered the question, how do I make it work?
Ya contesté la pregunta, ¿cómo es que hacemos que esto funcione?
And then the last question I answered was,
Y la tercera pregunta que contesté,
what's the risk?
¿cuál es el riesgo? ¿Cuál es el riesgo?
Yeah, what's the risk? Yeah. So guys, I have 2 last messages, 2 final messages.
Tengo 2 mensajes para ustedes para finalizar.
Venga, viajar con nosotros. Venga, viajar con nosotros. Juntos tenemos un gran futuro. Juntos